going to be a tutorial slash review of the Suva Beauty Neutral Necessity palette. And this palette, I mean, I've basically found the company on Instagram, and I found so many cool things on Instagram, but I was really drawn to like their swatch videos. They have like, I just saw one of the like a hydroquinone liners where there was a little bit that, you know, the lady had on her finger, and then she went all down her arm, and it's just like the color just kept going. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's what I want. Let's get back to business. So the Neutral Necessity is pretty much, it is what it is, Neutral Necessity. This palette is kind of like, this is like one of your mainstays. This is something that you would use pretty much on every look. What I love about it is these transition shades, like this shade right here, which is going to be like tan to fair. Yeah, I mean, it's a good transition for tan to fair. I mean, if you're really light, then you can use this one as a transition. Darker skin tones can use this one as a transition. Or, you know, these shades can be really cool for creases. So I really love this, because this is pretty much transition and crease, and this is pretty much a lid right here, or inner corner. So I feel like you're getting, like, these are some huge pans, guys. This is huge. I haven't seen any pans this size, except for like contour. So these pans are about the size of the contour pans that you would see like in white. You guys, I mean, I love it. I absolutely love it. I think anyone of any skin tone can use this palette. You know, depending on your skin color, you can actually use a couple of these as blushes. I mean, this is versatile, and if you're a makeup artist or an aspiring makeup artist and you're trying to get your kit and everything together, or, you know, you're just starting off with makeup and you want to find something like this essential or mainstay, this is going to be it. Anyway, that is it for that. Now we're ready to move forward to the tutorial. With every eye look, we are going to be priming the eyes. I'm using the MAC Painterly Paint Pot with a Sigma E58 brush. And then I'm using the Morphe M173 to kind of buff that out a little bit and just make sure it's smooth, so the eyeshadows aren't cakey. Alright, going into the Suva palette, I am using the Madrid shade, and I am also using the M433 Morphe brush, and I am really focusing on the crease, and I'm trying to kind of pat that eyeshadow in, because if you don't, then it really is not applying a whole lot of color. So this really works well for kind of patting that in. And then I'm going back with a blending brush and kind of blending that out. That is a B Pro blending brush. And then I'm just kind of like buffing that out upward into the crease. Then I'm going back into the palette, and then with the palette I am using the Eyeliner eyeshadow, this time with the Morphe 441 brush. And then I'm going back into the crease, and it's kind of like being a buildup of blending these colors together to create a gradiating effect, almost kind of like a rainbow with the shades. So I'm going back and forth with the blending brush, and then back with the Morphe 441. And so the trick is to kind of like pat and apply, and then go back and blend. Going back into the palette once again with the Night Market shade, and this is the Morphe 330 shade, and then just kind of packing on that color, then going back and blending. And you really want to take your time just to make sure that you don't have a lot of lines where the colors stop and start, unless you're going for that effect. But the real trick here is to just blend. So make sure you get a really good blending brush and just blend for your life. Alright, I'm going back into get the black shade out of the palette, and I really want to kind of focus on the crease. Then I'm using a NYX white eyeshadow base, and this is a concealer brush, and then I'm just kind of carving out the shade, the shape on my eyelid that I want. going back into the palette, I'm going to be mixing these two colors together. I'm actually starting off with Turkish Bath, and then I'm adding a little bit of Prohibition Pub. So I'm kind of starting from the edge of the, or the end of the eye, with the Turkish Bath, and then toward the inner corner of the eye, I'm going to be using the Prohibition Pub, and just kind of blending that together to get the effect that I wanted. One was too dark and the other one was way too light, so blending those two shades together works best for me. Okay, so what I'm doing now is going back with Islander, which is the darkest brown, and then Madrid. So I am starting from the outer corner, or the very end of the eye, and then I am starting with the Night Market, then I'm kind of going to the darkest brown, and then to the lightest brown that we started with the Madrid. And then I'm just kind of going back and just layering it. And I just really wanted to give it like a gradiating effect with those colors. Okay, and I'm sorry guys that the part of this was kind of cut off, but I used the ColourPop white gel liner pencil in my inner corner, and then I used the Night Market in Madrid underneath my eye. So I'm sorry I kind of cut that out. And here I'm just using the Benefit roller, I think it's rollerball mascara, and then I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is a 3.5 concealer. It is really thick and creamy, so make sure you take your time and blend. I'm using a Kiko Unlimited foundation, and I was just wanting something very light to combat the really heavy Anastasia concealer. So I just happen to have a darker shade, and that's what I'm using. Okay, so I'm just using the Real Techniques sponge, and this is very damp because that Anastasia Beverly Hills concealer is so thick. So I'm having to make sure it's really damp. Then I'm using the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, and then I'm just applying that where I applied the Anastasia Beverly Hills concealer, and then my oilier areas of my face, just to make sure that they stay matte, or at least not shiny. Okay, then using the Morphe E42 brush, and I'm just kind of like brushing all that off underneath my eye and wherever I apply the Laura Mercier. And oh my goodness, these are my new babies. These are the Naomi Lena lashes, and today is the last day for 60% off, so you may want to check that out. Alright, going into the Smashbox Deep Contour Kit, I'm using the bronzer out of that palette to contour, and that it was that middle shade. And then I'm going back and using the darker shade out of that palette right underneath my jawline there, just to give me a slimmer effect. And then I'm using the MAC Plum lip liner. And MAC Naturally Transformed. And then I'm going to go over on top of that after I blend that out with a Morphe lip liner brush, and I'm going to add a little bit of that see-through